All right. Welcome in, everyone. If you are new here, welcome to my channel. I am Boss Attorney Bree. I am a licensed California attorney and I practice business law and trademark law. If you are a returning if you are a returning viewer, thank you for joining us again today. Everyone, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you are new here, make sure you subscribe if you enjoy business law and trademark law and just celebrity lawsuits in general. So, today, if you checked out the title of the video, you know that we are going to be talking about NFTs, okay? And so, today, we are going to jump right into it. I am super exhausted. I did not sleep last night. So, we're going to jump right into these lawsuits that are going on with both Nike and Hermes, i.e., the creator of the Birkin bag that everybody talks about. But before we go ahead and get into the lawsuits, we are going to go ahead and define what an NFT is because NFTs have been like the talk of the town. During quarantine, everyone's like, start doing NFTs, you'll start to make money. So, what exactly is an NFT? An NFT is also known as a non fungible token. And guys, this is in the cryptocurrency world. So I'm going to have to read the definition. I have made a video on this before, but it gets a little tricky on exactly what an NFT is. So an NFT is basically a digital asset that is an internet, you can use it for like internet collectibles. And the thing about NFTs is that they are considered unique and you cannot have more than one. So once someone makes an NFT of something, you cannot go ahead and replicate it or i.e. copy and paste it. As we know, it is on the internet. So a lot of people are saying that it is a very high potential that people will just copy and paste these NFTs, but you're not supposed to do that. Like I said, they're supposed to be unique and they are also exchanged on the blockchain. So you are exchanging them on something similar to like Bitcoin and using cryptocurrencies to go ahead and buy it. So, like I said, NFTs are really popular. So many people are starting to make them. And the issue that is arising is that people are starting to make them under someone else's trademark. And as we get into it, they are making it under both Nike's trademark and Hermes trademark, i.e., the creator of the Birkin bag that all the ladies want to sport. So today we're going to jump into the Nike lawsuit first because it is the one that has all the hype around it. A lot of people are talking about it, particularly because Nike is suing StockX, which is a super popular shoe trading company, is what I'm going to describe it as. Nike described it as something like eBay, but for shoes in their complaint. I don't use StockX, so I'm not all the way familiar with it. And sorry for looking away, guys. I'm just trying to share my screen with you so we can get into the complaint. And so they actually started creating their own NFTs with Nike logo on it. So they were making NFTs for Nike shoes. Nike said, no, we're not having this because for those of you that don't know, Nike actually has applied for trademarks for digital assets. And the way that trademarks work is that you can only have a trademark. Let me pop back over to me because we're not quite ready for the complaint. But you can only have a trademark in particular classes. So as we know, Nike is an apparel company. So they have their trademarks all throughout the apparel class. But in order to get a trademark for digital assets, such as for NFTs or things to use in the metaverse, they have to file all new trademark applications in order to be protected under that. Now, there is an argument that Nike is a super famous trademark. So basically, they might have some authority in a variety of the classes, even if they don't file. But just to be safe, Nike is going ahead and filing their trademark for a digital asset. Now, since StockX started making these NFTs without Nike's permission, that's what's bringing the issue in this lawsuit. So let's pop on over back to the complaint. And we are going to talk about this lawsuit and what Nike is basically alleging. And guys, let me know if you think that this should be considered trademark infringement, because technically Nike does not have the trademark for digital assets quite yet. So let's see what you guys think. And we're going to basically just go over the preliminary statement because it does give a lot of the details that Nike is alleging. We're going to skim through a little bit of the extra allegations that they have, and then we're going to go down into the causes of actions. Why I am talking, or while I am talking about this, go ahead and leave your comments on the situation. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and comment below your comments on the situation, and let's get right into it. As you can see, this lawsuit is brought in the Southern District of California and is brought in the district court, meaning that this is a federal case, because if you have joined my live streams before, we know that trademark law is federal law, and that's why they're bringing it in the federal court. And there may be some issues of diversity jurisdiction, because the owner, oh no, not in this case, in the next case there's diversity, but here we go. And they are suing StockX, like I said, a super popular shoe selling company. So there we have it there. Plaintiff Nike for its complaint against the defendant StockX LLC for trademark infringement, trademark dilution, and related causes of actions that is alleged as follows. The lawsuit arises from defendant StockX's unauthorized and infringing use of Nike's famous marks in connection with StockX's entry into the non-fungible token market. Again, like I said earlier, Nike is trying to enter into that market, and since NFTs are supposed to be unique and you cannot make another one, once you make one black Nike t-shirt with a certain design on it, you can't make another NFT like that, which makes it unique, which makes people want to buy it because it is a scarcity tactic. You can only get that one NFT. So if StockX is making those NFTs before Nike, then it's going to stop Nike from being able to profit off of their own brand that they have been building up for years on end. Okay, guys? So non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, have quickly become pervasive in their use by brand owners seeking to enter the nascent marketplace of virtual and digital products connected to a token on the blockchain. NFTs are commonly understood to be blockchain-based virtual products that can be collected, sold, traded in the marketplace. They are an exciting way for brands to interact with their consumers in and out of the metaverse, and diverse commercial applications of NFTs have emerged throughout the past 2 years. Far more than a fleeting trend, NFTs are part of the future of commerce. So as we get into this lawsuit, you guys are going to see how much they're actually selling NFTs for versus how much the Nike shoe is actually worth. And later on, we're going to talk about it for the Hermes Birkin bag. We're going to see how much it is actually worth, or how much a Birkin bag is actually worth, which a lot of us already know that Birkin bags are super, super expensive. Wait until you see how much these Metabirkins are selling for, and they're not even made by the right company. So I think that case is a little bit more interesting, because the Nike ones are not selling for too much so far. And so we have Alpha in the building. Thank you for joining the live stream live, honey. I will see you when you get home. That is my boo thing, guys. So yeah, California watching here. For those of you that are watching on the live stream, let me know where you're watching from as well. And for those of you watching on the replay, put it in the comment box where you're watching from. Also, let me know if you guys have heard of this lawsuit before I brought it up. I know a lot of people reported on it already, but let me know if my viewers know about this lawsuit. All right, so we're going to move right back into the complaint. Unfortunately, novel products offering burgeoning technologies and gold rush market tend to create opportunities for third parties to capitalize on the goodwill of reputable brands and create confusion in the marketplace. So they're basically saying that it is confusing that StockX is the one actually making these NFTs, especially because they are a shoe company. And Nike sells shoes and they're making the NFTs of Nike shoes and they don't have permission to do it. So they're saying that StockX is profiting off of the goodwill that Nike has already established. Another issue that can come into play here is to say that, well, StockX already sells Nike shoes and uses the Nike logo on those shoes. That's a different situation because they're just actually reselling the actual product versus creating a whole new product that is the NFT and then selling it for a profit when they didn't have to spend anything to get the NFT. Don't quote me on that because I'm not too sure how much it costs to make NFTs. It might have some little money associated with it, but it's definitely not the same as producing an entire shoe. Okay, guys, so going back into it, NFTs are not surprisingly no exception to the rule, and this new frontier has swiftly become a virtual playground for infringers to usurp, I cannot say that word, the goodwill of some of the most famous trademarks in the world and use those trademarks without authorization to market their virtual products and generate ill-gotten profits. So the issue with NFTs that has been arising a lot is that people are taking them and creating them, but they're not the actual owner of the trademark. And I know that there is some issue as far as copyright goes, as far as technically protecting a link. Those are not protectable under copyright law. And so you are going to see all of these big companies bringing these lawsuits for trademark infringement because all of these famous marks, like I said earlier, even though they may not have a trademark for this yet, the mark is so famous and they are making it to replicate these famous marks products that people are going to confuse it, and to whereas these companies will likely have the first right to the name because it's literally a replication of their product in the real world. I don't think it should really matter if it's a digital asset versus the actual physical product. You're still copying it. And Nike and Hermes and any other famous brand is going to have the right to replicate and expand into what is the word for it? Expand into, I cannot think of the word, but they're going to expand into related areas. So the metaverse did not exist at first, but we know, or we assume in the metaverse, when you go there, your little virtual person is going to be able to wear certain clothes and certain shoes and things like that. So it only makes sense that there is a likelihood of expansion for Nike to go into the digital assets of selling the same products that they sell in the real world. And this is why these lawsuits are being brought, so that people that have the trademark for already physical products get the protection for the actual NFT product. And it shouldn't really be a fight about it because they're literally replicating exactly what the physical product is. So let's pop over to Alpha in his comments. All right, so wow, that's interesting. Yes, it is. And will this cause copyright laws to be written for NFTs? That is why I think they are doing these cases, but at the same time, for these particular cases, not necessarily, because they are bringing it under trademark law and unfair competition. They are not necessarily bringing it under copyright law right now because there have been some cases that have gone across, and they found that the thing is that they're considering the NFT to be something like a link, and links are not protectable. So that's probably why they are bringing it under trademark law, because your trademark is protectable for the same or similar goods. So this is the same. They're literally replicating the physical product. So I would consider it the same. But even if you don't consider it the same, it could definitely be considered similar products because it's just a digital version of the product that they actually make in real life. Or let me not say definitely. We'll see what the court decides because these are going to be new types of cases. But it's very likely that they're going to say, hey, no, this is considered a similar product. All right. so let's pop back over to the actual complaint. And so they're going to get into a little bit of how StockX is copying them. And so I'm going to try to get through this pretty fast. It's a little long, but we're going to skip over like the super deep facts in the factual allegation section. So let me go back to number 3. Defendant StockX, the operator of an online resale platform for various brands of sneakers, apparel, luxury handbags, electronics, and other collectible goods that purport to provide authentication services to its customers. StockX publicly touts the fact that Nike products drive more sales on its e-commerce platform than any other brand, and StockX's advertisement and social media accounts are teeming with images of Nike goods. And so if you guys remember, this might be a little similar to last week when we talked about Rolexes and that company. When we went on their website, it was like full of Rolex watches. The first thing listed on the list under watches was Rolex. The first page all showed Rolex and the prices of the Rolex. Similarly to this one, they're saying when you go on StockX's website, all you see is Nike sprawled across it, and it is the top selling product on the StockX website. So I can actually go over to them. Oops. I've never been on this website in my life, so let's see what it looks like. First thing, Jordan. So yeah, but they have a couple of other things. It's definitely not like what we saw with the Rolex one. This is one thing. We also have the Nike Dunk Low, but for some reason the pictures are not popping up. So they have a couple of Nike things on the first page. So yeah, Nike Air Force Ones. So not as bad, I don't think, as the Rolex case for sure, but they are there. And so Nike is also pointing out the fact that they do sell a lot of Nikes and they do advertise a lot of Nikes, but they're doing it under the first sale doctrine. They're able to do that. They're not pretending like they made these shoes and then they're selling them as their own shoes, like the Becker watch was trying to prove in the Rolex case. They are actually selling Nike shoes. So, yeah. All right. Recognizing firsthand the immense value of Nike brand, StockX has chosen to compete in the NFT market not by taking the time to develop its own intellectual property rights, but rather to blatantly free ride almost exclusively on the backs of Nike's famous trademarks and associated goodwill. So they're basically saying like, they can make their own NFT shoe. They can call it the StockX shoe and sell it, but they're just deciding not to do that. They're just going to use Nike shoes, which Nike is saying that's not right. And I agree with them. I do think that it falls more along the lines of trademark infringement and when it comes to trademarks. But copyright, I think that's why they didn't sue under that, because it's a little bit more difficult to expand your reach in copyright, especially if they're saying they're comparing an NFT to a link, which is not protectable by copyright law. So, and we have Alpha here. I have bought stuff from their StockX. Yes, I know. They're very popular in the resale of shoes because they do the authorization, the authentication. So I know they're very popular, like shoe resale site, but I honestly just heard about them a few years ago. I don't know how long they've been out though. All right, specifically without Nike's authorization or approval, StockX is minting NFTs that prominently use Nike trademarks, marketing those NFTs using Nike's goodwill, and selling those NFTs at heavily inflated prices to unsuspecting consumers who believe and are likely to believe that those investable digital assets are in fact authorized by Nike when they are not. They're basically saying we don't have any hand in this, and we don't want people thinking that we are making these NFTs and selling them for way more than what they're worth. Unlike its e-commerce business, which caters to buyers and sellers of goods originated from various companies, nearly all of I cannot read today. I'm super tired. Nearly all the NFTs minted by StockX to date are Nike branded NFTs, yet none of those NFTs originate from Nike. Examples of StockX's infringing NFTs appear below. And so, as you guys can see on the screen, these are the NFTs that StockX is selling. So I'll zoom into it. And I'm not a sneakerhead by any means. So I don't know if these are real shoes that Nike actually makes. Nike says that they are. A little later on in the complaint, I don't know if these exact ones are, but it looks like a Nike shoe. I think that people would easily confuse those to be Nike and that Nike is the one endorsing them. They do have this little StockX right here. But the bigger part of the logo or the bigger part of the NFT is this Nike logo right here and then the Nike right here on the tongue. So I don't think they could really get away with saying, oh, but look on the side, it says StockX, especially since StockX normally sells Nike shoes. So people are probably going to think that this is associated with Nike. So there is that. All right, so StockX claims that it's 100% authentic Nike branded vaulted NFTs do not. Oh, did they say authenticated there? I don't see it saying authenticated. Not there, but I'm sure it says it on their website or something. Okay. 100% authentic Nike branded vault NFTs do no more than track ownership of a physical. Okay, so that's where they're going to try to argue it. Do no more than track the ownership of a physical Nike product safely secured in its vault. So they are going to try to probably use the first sell doctrine in that this is just an advertisement for the shoe that they actually have on their website versus them actually selling NFTs to wear in the quote unquote metaverse, unlike the Birkin bag one we're going to get into next. All right, let's go. But StockX's vault NFTs are far more than just physical Nike shoes, and StockX's claims that a vault NFT exclusively functions as a traceable digital receipt is belied by its statements. Those statements reflect the fact that StockX's Nike branded vaulted NFTs, whose purchasers can trade or collect and display in their portfolio, are new virtual products that StockX has bundled with additional StockX services. That is a good argument. Okay. And unspecified benefits. Exclusive access to StockX's releases, promotions, events. Nike does not sell StockX services or exclusive access to such benefits, yet StockX's new virtual products have been created, marketed, offered for sale, and sold by StockX using Nike's trademarks without Nike's consent. And according to StockX, it is just getting started. So the reason why I said that is a good argument, or maybe I should pull this back up. This is a good argument here because remember, like I said earlier, they're going to try to argue first sell that they're not using it to sell their own product. But because they're saying that it is attached to track a physical Nike product that is safely secured in its vault. So they're saying the NFT is only to show buyers what StockX actually has of the Nike shoe. However, this is not, it cannot, let me not make an exact statement because we have to see the case actually go through the court. But how NFTs are supposed to be made is that you can only have one of them. So if they're saying that their NFTs is only to stock or to track the actual physical product that they have in the vault, they cannot make more than one of the same NFT of that shoe. But as we know, Nike makes multiple shoes of their different collections in different sizes. So I don't think that's accurate because that would mean that they only have that one shoe in one size and multiple people cannot buy the same shoe under that NFT. But I'm pretty sure that they will allow people to buy the same shoe or the same design. They'll probably just be different sizes. So it's shaky. They tried it. but I don't think that they will be too successful on it, especially when they say that they do not sell StockX services, because StockX says that you get exclusive access to the StockX's releases, promotions, and events. Those are things that Nike does not sell. So you cannot say that you are selling Nike NFTs to sell StockX's products, because Nike doesn't sell that. And on top of that, Nike did not create these NFTs. So they are creating a new product and selling it under Nike's trademark. So those would be my arguments in the case, but I think that they did a good job pointing out what StockX is trying to do. It sounds like they hired a lawyer before they started making these NFTs. However, their arguments are a little shaky as of now. All right, so popping back over, let me know if you guys have any questions, or if you think that this should be considered trademark infringement as we go through these initial facts of the case. Like I said, we're going to jump down and kind of go over some of the deeper facts in the case a little later, but we're not going to get super deep into them since it is a 50-page complaint. And we don't have time to go through all of that, especially because we have a second case. And then we're going to get into the causes of action, which are very similar to the one in the Birkin bag case. And I kind of feel like they might have copied this complaint, but let me not make any assumptions. They just allege a lot of the same things. Okay, just as troubling are other StockX statements. They appear to negate StockX's primary claim that a bought NFT can be readily traded in for the associated physical shoes stored in a StockX facility. For example, while StockX claims that the bought NFT owners may redeem the NFT and take possession of the shoes for an additional fee. That kind of diminishes their argument even more. StockX's argument even more. It also states that the redemption process is not currently available to NFT owners. I don't understand how they thought this was a good argument. Well, they haven't. Let me backtrack. StockX has not presented any arguments yet, but you can tell that they put these things in, allegedly, in my opinion, they put these things into place so that they can try to get over, or in my opinion, so that they could try to get over this trademark infringement. But I can't be mad at them. They probably hired a lawyer that tried to get them the loopholes. It was a good try. StockX also shockingly retains the right to unilaterally redeem the bought NFT for so-called experimental component. And take away the NFT, completely depriving the bought NFT owner of possession of the shoes that are supposedly connected to the NFT. So they're basically saying that they can sell the shoe, or they can take the shoe, in my opinion, sell the shoe to whoever they want, even if they don't hold the NFT. So there's no guarantee that the shoe will actually be in the vault after you buy the NFT. It's supposed to track the shoe, but it's not necessary. They can get rid of it and say that they're taking it as an experimental component and basically sell it to someone else or do whatever they want with it. That's what it sounds like to me. Nike did not approve or authorize StockX's Nike branded vault NFTs. Those unsanctioned products are likely to confuse consumers, create false association between these products and Nike, and dilute Nike's famous trademarks. Indeed, consumers are already questioning whether Nike authorized StockX to sell infringing NFT products, asking how StockX received licensing to sell NFT with Nike branding. And they're going to go deeper into that a little later on. StockX's misappropriation of Nike's famous trademark and goodwill to buy its entry, they spelled this wrong, by its entry into the lucrative NFT and digital collectible market, deprives Nike of its exclusive right to use its marks in connection with the new commercial media. And I think that is a strong argument. And I think that's why it's super good that a lot of these big companies are bringing these cases, because it should be able to stop people from saying, oh, well, I'm going to be the first to file. Under trademark law, the first person to use the trademark in commerce is technically the owner of the mark. But a lot of times, the first person to file the trademark can protect a person under trademark law because they're usually able to show that they've actually been using it versus someone who might have been the first person to use it but didn't file the trademark. They may not have all the documentation to show that they were the first person to use it. If the first person to file it, they have the trademark for 5 years, then the mark will become incontestable. So then they are the owner of the trademark. So there's a whole bunch of ways that the first person to file can actually be the owner of the trademark, even though under the common law, technically the first person to use it is the owner of the trademark. This is what is happening in that rare beauty lawsuit with Selena Gomez and the smaller rare beauty cosmetic brand. The first to file, even though technically under the law in the United States, it's the first to use it. In a lot of other countries, it's the first to file. But in the United States, there is a loophole to where the first person to file can become the actual owner of the trademark if someone was using it but just decided not to file it federally. And it's super important to remember that, yes, having common law rights is good, but having federally protected rights under a statute is better. So if you have a business, go ahead and file your trademark. Don't just say, oh, I got the, what do they call it? When you mail your poor man's copyright and you mail it to yourself, just go and file it. It's $65. For most copyrights, it's $65. Just go ahead and file it because common law rights are just not as strong as federal rights. It's documented. The government has all the proof and all of that. So same thing with trademarks. I say just file it. If you really think it's unique and it's protectable, then you should be able to get a trademark for it. So that was a little bit of a tangent. All right. In addition to the fall NFTs, inflated prices and murky terms of the purchase and ownership, the purchasing conditions for this thing is a little sketchy. As discussed further below, have already led to public criticism of StockX and alleged allegations that the bought NFTs are a scam. So people are already saying that these NFTs are actually a scam. StockX's prominent use of Nike's trademarks in connection with these dubious virtual products has already generated negative association with Nike in a way that harms Nike's reputation and the immense goodwill that Nike has amassed in its brands. Consumers have even attributed StockX's conduct to Nike, with one consumer expressing that the bought NFTs are just a stupid scam for Nike to make money. So, in order to prove trademark infringement, or in order to get money from trademark infringement, showing that people were actually confused and thought that Nike was the one putting it out there, can allow Nike to win a little bit easier rather than speculating that people would confuse it. Since Nike is such a famous company, it's going to be easier for them to find actual confusion than someone that might be a smaller company, because people tweet whatever they think. They put the things on Instagram. So Nike actually went and did their research and actually found instances of when people did confuse these NFTs, thinking that Nike is the one putting them out. And honestly, the NFT market is super profitable at this point, and if they can continue to legitimize it, is going to continue to be super profitable. So of course, Nike, who has been building this company from, I don't even know when Nike started, they don't want their name to be taken by some new company, i.e. StockX, or just some random person in their basement to use their name and make the money. Because we buy Nike because we know of their quality, right? They spent a lot of money in advertising and letting us know who Nike is. They have their own store. People know who they are. When you start a new company, you have to build that reputation. And Nike wants to be able to trade on the reputation that they already built in physical products, also in the digital world. And I don't think that's unreasonable. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think that people should be able to use their physical reputation for products on digital products, or do you think that they should have to start over and come up with a whole new brand, or people should just be able to use that brand? I'm going to say that they should be able to profit on the goodwill that they already associated. Even if Nike started selling cooking pans, I think that they should be able to profit on that name. They should be able, you built up a reputation. All right. So StockX's prominent use of Nike's trademarks in connection with the Vault NFTs. Nike's has no control over the quality of the Vault NFTs whatsoever. Nike has no say in how many Vault NFTs bearing its trademarks are released, where the Vault NFTs are released and traded, when the Vault NFTs are released, how the Vault NFTs are released, traded, and or redeemed, and at what price the bought NFTs are sold. And I think that's super important to point out, because people, when StockX is putting these things and saying you will be able to redeem this NFT for the actual shoes, and then StockX takes the shoes and they're no longer available, then who is the vault, or not the vault owners, the NFT owners going to get mad at? Probably Nike for letting StockX do this. Okay. So Nike's widely publicized December 13, 2021 acquisition of NTFKT, a digital art and collectible creative studio, demonstrates its recent investment in NFT technology and services. And they have also filed trademarks too. But Nike has been using its famous trademarks in connection with virtual goods and digital applications for years. And so they're going to go into how they already actually use their trademarks in the digital space. So they're basically saying, we were the first ones to use it, so we should have the right. So not only do we have trademarks for similar physical products, but we also were the first ones to use it in the digital space. All right. Given Nike's long-standing use in this space, StockX's unauthorized and unapproved branding of bought NFTs with NFT trademarks is all the more likely to confuse consumers, create false association between the parties, jeopardize the capacity of Nike's famous marks to identify its own digital goods in the metaverse and beyond, and harm Nike's reputation through an association with inferior digital products. Therefore, Nike requests the court to swiftly and permanently stop StockX from continuing to sell vault NFTs bearing Nike famous marks. I think they got through a lot of information within that opening statement, and it is, it's pretty long, honestly. It's like 5 pages. And so I do think that they got a lot of information in there. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think they have some strong arguments? I know everyone's not like super familiar with the actual trademark laws, but just from reading that opening statement, and I do have to admit, I did not read it before the stream. I went through the other facts, but I did not read the opening statement because I assumed a lot of it will be in the additional facts. So I think they did a good job at pointing out the arguments that StockX will potentially bring, and go ahead and put them out there so that when StockX responds, they know that Nike is already on to some of the defenses that they might put on there. But StockX may very well just respond with a general denial and then go ahead and fight this in trial versus giving up their cards and showing what their defenses might be, because they might just say, we're not liable, so let's just take it to trial, rather than giving all of their defenses in the answer. All right, so I am just going to skip over the parties and the jurisdiction and venue, because that's not like super important to a lot of you guys in the case. And so we're going to go on down to the factual background of the situation. All right, so they kind of give a breakdown of what NFTs are and the blockchain, and how you basically track NFTs through the blockchain. And I'm not super familiar with everything, but that's the gist of what I got from this. All right, we're going to just skip this part because we already gave a brief description of what NFTs are. If you missed it in the beginning, go ahead and jump back to the beginning to get that brief description of NFTs. All right, and so Nike goes on to talk about the business of Nike and how their trademarks are valuable, which is something that you have to prove to get money for trademark infringement, to show that you own your mark, that it is incontestable, and that it is valuable, and you're losing money by this person copying you. So They talk about how they're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and then they go on to list several of the trademarks that StockX is infringing on. And let me tell you, Nike has a whole bunch of trademarks. I cannot remember off of the top of my head how many trademarks that they have, but they have a lot, and they went ahead and listed a lot of them here. As you can see, most of them fall into the clothing and footwear category. And that is because this is what StockX is copying. They're copying the shoes, right? So as you can see, they have Air Jordan, this little design of Air Jordan, Dunk Jump Man, the actual Air Jordan little logo man. They also have the word Nike, of course. Nike in several different classes, as you can see. Nike with the check mark, Nike without, or the check mark without the word Nike, called the swoosh design. And those are all of the ones that they went ahead and cited because, like I said earlier, these are the ones that StockX is allegedly infringing on, or we have already actually seen it. So they are actually using those trademarks on those NFTs. And then as you can see here, they went ahead and listed that these are, okay, yeah, though these ones that they're listing are actually incontestable, and that they, what else did they say? They're federally registered, which usually gives them a better standing in proving trademark infringement because it's not a question of whether they're actually the owners of the trademark. So they went ahead and listed all of these trademarks. They registered it, and they've been using it for a long time. They also let them know that they have the common law rights, but like I said earlier, having federal rights is better than having common law rights, but having both federal and common law rights is better than just having federal rights. So they go ahead and list that they have all of those rights. Again, more chances to win money and win the lawsuit. All right, and so they intend to preserve their rights in their name. They let us know that these trademarks are highly distinctive, which again is another way to help you win your trademark lawsuit. And then they're going to talk about how Nike has been using their trademarks in the virtual space. As you can see, they talk about this sneakers mobile app. They use it in 2K Sports. They use it in, that's also still 2K. And then they have gamer exclusives. And again, NBA 2K 2020, I guess. I'm not familiar with those games there. So they're basically trying to establish that they are already using it in the digital space, basically creating common law rights if for some reason their federal rights are not recognized under the digital market space. So what do you guys think about that? Do you think that they should be able to expand their reach like that? I know for common law, yes, they can expand their reach like that, but I'm more on the side that their federal trademarks should also protect them. So let me know what you guys think if you're watching this on the replay or if you are here live. On October 27th and 28th, Nike filed applications to register the following trademarks. That's where I thought I was earlier in the thing. So they went ahead and filed trademark applications to register these in the virtual digital space. So not only are they saying that they are the first one to use it in the space, but now they're saying they're actually working on registering it. And they're saying that they already have federal rights in related goods, which I think they are pulling out all the stops, which is probably why this complaint is 50 pages long. They are coming with all of the evidence against StockX at this moment. And so they went ahead and filed trademarks for Nike, Jordan, this little Air Jordan sign, the Jumpman, the swoosh, the Nike with the swoosh. And then on December 13th, Nike announced that it had acquired the RTK, or all those letters, a leading digital art and collective creative studio that has created some of the most popular apparel-related digital artwork NFT releases to date. So they're basically hopping on the bandwagon by acquiring this company that is going to help them make good NFTs for their Nike products and potentially for other apparel products. They go on to talk about the employees' formation of the Nike Virtual Studio, again, emphasizing that they are going into the digital space as well. I don't see anybody coming in with any comments on what you think. Is this trademark infringement? But we are going to continue on with the lawsuit then. And then they released some virtual products in 2022 February, so this month. And then we jumped back into StockX's resale platform. Like they said earlier on, they sell sneakers, streetwear, electronics, luxury handbags, and other collectible items. And they are known to authenticate whatever products they have before they sell them. If you were here earlier, I said that they compare it to like an eBay model where you basically, I guess, you bid on the products. For those of you that are super familiar with StockX, let me know. Do you actually bid on the shoes on StockX, or do you just buy them outright? I think on eBay you can just buy them outright, or you can bid on them. So I'm assuming that that's how it is on StockX. And honestly, I don't be on eBay either, so I don't think I might just be making that up as well. So let me just pop over here and see what I like to fish is saying. During Nike's last earnings call, they announced they were getting into the metaverse space. Yes, so that was just the part we went over. They're trying to let it be known that they fully intend to be in the metaverse. And I think they actually filed their trademark a few months back. So again, that is showing that they intend to be in the metaverse space. I don't know if they can really claim it with like the 2K game, but I guess that would technically be the gaming space and the digital asset space. So I think they can have that name, but also expanding into the metaverse. I think that it will be beneficial to them, not only in this case, but in this life. Because if the metaverse really becomes this big thing, I think that it could be very profitable for them, which we're going to get into in a moment to see how much they're actually selling these NFTs for versus how much the actual Nike shoe sells for. All right, and then we got Alpha saying both to what that they should be liable for that they should be protected under their federal and for their common law, or I don't know what you're saying both to. So we're going to pop back over to the complaint and we'll see if Alpha comes back with an answer for us. All right. So according to their annual report, their Nike brands and shoes dominate the StockX marketplace. So Nike is basically pointing out that they are trying to profit off of Nike's name, which is the whole point of the whole this trademark lawsuit, is to prove that they really know that they're profiting off of Nike's name. All right. And so as you can see, they post that these are the top selling brands on StockX. We see the Air Jordan, we see the Nike. All of these look like very familiar trademarks that we just looked at a little earlier on. So what do you guys think? I'm thinking that they are trying to emphasize this. I don't know. Oh, I did that one on purpose. Okay. So, all right. On January 18th, 2022, StockX New York-based editorial director announced the launch of StockX Vault NFTs, a collection of NFTs that StockX users purchase directly from StockX through the StockX website and StockX app. And so Nike is really trying to emphasize that this is all through StockX and that they have no association with this, what StockX is doing to basically murder, or let me not say murder, I said it twice, but to basically cross out any indication that this should be viewed under the first sale doctrine or the first sale protection. So let's pop back. We go. No, on the format of the purchase on StockX. Oh, so you can bid on it and you can buy it outright. That's what I thought. But I think that's also based on another website that you use. But I just assume it's all the same. Nike will win this case. I like fish and thinks that they're going to win this case. I am on that side too, but since it is such a new area of the law, and when I'm saying that, I'm talking about NFTs, since those are so new, I do want to like keep up with the case and see if they do make any changes. I think that it will still fall under a similar product, that it's inevitable that someone that sells apparel items in real life will expand on into selling them in our new digital world that they're trying to create. So I agree with you. I'm on that track with you as well. So let's pop back over to the complaint. So we already did that first sentence. StockX claims the vault NFTs are associated with unique physical products held in StockX's custody until the NFT owner redeems the NFT in exchange for associated physical product or some other benefit. But as we saw earlier, that is not always true, because StockX can just get rid of the product even if you do not trade it in for the NFT, basically making it a separate product, because you'll still have the value of the NFT, you just can't get the shoes anymore. So unlike the physical goods, StockX users may sell through online resale platform, which are manufactured or distributed in the first instance by Nike and other brands. The NFTs are virtual products, digital collectibles created and first offered for sale by StockX and available direct to consumers for purchase and trade on StockX websites and StockX apps. So they're basically emphasizing the fact that this is not first sale. This is the fact that StockX is actually creating this. This is something separate. This will be the equivalent into StockX creating a shoe, putting the Nike logo on it, and selling it. That's basically what Nike is trying to say here. All right, thus far, StockX has sold Nike branded vault NFTs at prices multiple times the Nike shoe price. And so this is where we're going to get into how much they're actually selling it as. Okay, and so as we can see right here, they are selling, or the shoe, this actual shoe sells for $100 on Nike.com. But the first NFT was sold for $282. So what is that? $182 more. I don't know what that return on investment is, or not return on investment, but what profit that is. And then on top of that, they don't even get the physical shoe, because the NFTs are not allowed to be traded in yet. That StockX is claiming that was the whole point of them. So they sold for $297 or $282, and then they sold again for $809, and then they said the highest trade is at $3,500. And remember, these are $100 shoes, but they're selling the NFTs for $800. That's this is what Nike is talking about, that it's overpriced. What do you guys think? I think NFTs, like, what do you even do with them? Because I haven't been on any of the metaverses, so can you wear the shoes in the metaverse? I'm thinking that's how the NFTs are supposed to work with clothing. I'm thinking you're supposed to be able to put it on your little virtual avatar, but I'm not sure, because I haven't gone into the metaverse yet. All right, and so these nice little colorful shoes here we have. They sell on Nike.com for $140, but the NFT first sold for $205. So not as expensive as the first one, but still more expensive than the actual shoe. Still more expensive, or still more money than Nike is actually making from selling the actual shoe. Because we also have to think about how much it actually costs to make the shoe. This NFT, I'm not sure how much it costs to make NFTs, but I'm sure it doesn't cost the same amount to make it. Let me be quiet, because I don't know how much it costs to make an NFT. Okay, so popping back down, here is another shoe that they're selling the NFT for, looking like it's at 150 or 165, or that's the actual shoe. Selling the actual shoe on StockX. Okay, but then it's selling the NFT for $590, with the highest being at almost $4,000. So that is an extreme amount when we're looking at the actual price of the shoe. Again, we have this nice little pretty shoe that we talked about earlier, and I think that one ended up being around, what was that, $200 and something. All right, and so they're basically saying you can redeem the token at any time, but that process is not even available yet. So is it really what they're saying that it is. I don't think so. I need to turn those little pop-ups off. Okay. Notably, under the terms, they unilaterally redeem the vault, and that's what we talked about earlier. They could technically sell the shoe without actually trading in the NFT. All right. And it's saying that the NFT vault has no value apart from the actual physical shoe. Directly conflicts with the terms described in paragraph 54. Because basically, if they sell the shoe, you're just stuck with the little digital paper of the shoe. Or I guess it's not considered a paper, but you know what I mean. All right. So they have all of these shoes for the NFT purchase, which are, I think, all Nike shoes. This is interesting that you can buy as a Nike NFT. I'll pop back over here for one moment. I'm talking my head off. NFTs seem like a scheme to me. I haven't really seen the value too much in them, but I really haven't looked into it all that much either. So I'm not, it could be. Versus just buying something in the actual metaverse. I'm thinking of it like Club Penguin, and you could put like a little hat on or something. And I think you should buy it directly in the metaverse that you're actually in. So I don't know. I'm not buying any NFTs. But then again, there are people that buy $1 million pieces of art that I have never been to an art show. I don't know if I would ever buy $1 million piece of art, but I'm thinking that there's other things I can spend my money on. And so I think that's kind of how it will be for the NFTs. I think some people will like them and some people will not like them. But so far right now, especially with people actually copying famous brands, they might be a little scammy. But I don't know. StockX also touts each bought NFT as 100% authentic, which upon information and belief is intended to explicitly mislead customers that Nike has authorized, approved, sponsored, and endorsed StockX's NFTs. What do you guys think? I think that does sound like they're approved that it's 100% a Nike NFT. Because when they're saying that the shoe is authentic, when you buy the shoe, you're thinking that they're authentic Nike shoes. So I could understand why they say 100% authentic would mislead consumers to think that Nike actually authorized the authentic Nike NFTs. Okay, I want to get down to something else. Alrighty. There was another part of this lawsuit. Okay, so they talk about some of the disclaimers that they put in here. They said below the 4 bullet points in a comically and intentionally small, difficult to read font, StockX also states the purpose of the NFT is solely to track the ownership of the transactions in connection with the associated product. The NFT does not independently authenticate the associated product, nor is it affiliated or associated with, sponsored by, or officially connected to Nike or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. For information on official Nike products, please visit Nike.com. And you're going to see this as a, like, it is, what do you call it? You're going to see this as a common theme because in the Birkin case, they say the same thing. They say, oh, this is not really a Nike product. If you want information on the Nike product, go to Nike.com. And they link to the actual website. And they do that in the Birkin bag one as well. I like Fish Just art is physical. Yes, art is physical and not as easy to scam. So I misspoke when I talked about it earlier. The art piece is going to be a lot more valuable than some type of digital coding of a picture of something. Some artists are making NFTs, which could be valuable, but you can easily like screenshot it and then now you have it too. So I agree with you. Physical art is probably it is more valuable than I think an NFT can be, because there's a lot of ways you can just copy and paste a NFT versus you can't really copy and paste a physical piece of art. unless you like photocopy it, but most pieces of art too big for that. So all right, so they're basically leading people to Nike.com, further making people think that Nike is somehow associated with them. And then they talk about how you can own it on the website. Whoever this attorney is was over here screenshotting these StockX's NFT web pages. All right, so they use Google Ads. Oh yeah, I remember reading this. Yeah, they use Google Ads to go ahead and promote the NFTs, which is ridiculous. Or not ridiculous. I guess it's cool. And then they also on their Twitter account, they use a lot of Nike stuff just at the top of it. Basically, like trying to make people think that Nike is just a super sponsor of their product, and so that they should also be the sponsor of their NFTs. They put it on their Instagram account. Here it is here. They're trying to sell their NFTs on the Instagram account. Okay, so they do have the sizes on here. I didn't realize that earlier. They do have the sizes on there, but I can't imagine them making a whole different NFT style for like a size 7 instead. I'm sure it probably looks pretty much the same, if not at like a different angle. And it just seems like it's just a screenshot, or they just took a picture of the shoe and put it on this so-called digital asset. Okay, let me stop talking mess about StockX here. All right. Let's hop over because we have a comment. All right, no one has the answer on what to do with an NFT. Yeah, that's why is my camera blurry? Yeah, that's. I don't know what you're supposed to do with it. I thought that you were supposed to be able to wear it like on Club Penguin or what else is like a little virtual reality world. You can change your clothes and stuff, but it doesn't seem like the way that that's put on there. It doesn't seem like that's what you can do. So, and I really don't even all the way know what an NFT is. Honestly, to be honest with you, that's probably why we don't know what to do with it, because it's not really clear on what it actually is. I just say it's a non-fungible token, and you can make unique things. It's only one of a kind, but it's like, okay, well, what is it? Okay. So there's no collaboration between Nike and StockX. They wanted to make that clear. People have commented that the NFT scam, the bought NFTs are a scam, that StockX sneaker NFTs are kind of a scam hidden in plain sight. There's like a bunch of people calling it a scam. There's this whole article about how it's not really valuable. And they continue to point out a bunch of negative remarks of where people have actually confused the trademark of Nike or as being associated with these StockX NFTs. Okay. And so we're going to pop down. I'm trying to get us to the actual causes of action. Like this complaint is really long. We're on page 38 and it's a 50-page long complaint. Okay, we're going to go through these actually. These are people actually confusing whether Nike is involved with these StockX NFTs. So it says, yeah, I feel safe assuming Nike gets a cut of the fees that StockX takes from each transaction, LOL, at save, closet space, and shipping costs. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into the confusion. And Nike filing this lawsuit is really wanting to show people that they are not involved in this. They do not want people associating the StockX NFTs with Nike's actual NFTs when they come out, because maybe Nike is going to sell theirs at a reasonable price, but they'll actually be from Nike. So I feel like that's more valuable than bidding for some overpriced NFT made by someone who's not even Nike. And maybe Nike will make it so that you can wear your shoes in the metaverse, because that's what I would want to do with my shoes. I would want to wear them in the metaverse, and nobody else has the same shoes. I don't know. Consumer confusion as to whether Nike is associated with StockX is immediately evident on Twitter. There's another post saying, are these NFTs endorsed / approved by Nike / Adidas, etc.? Asking StockX, do they have permission to be using this, basically? Alpha says no one does. No one knows what the heck an NFT is. And then, can you resell the NFT? Yes, you can resell the NFT, and they track it on the blockchain. And that's what I was showing you guys earlier. Is like the first time it sold, it was for what was that? Like $280, and then the next time it was $500 and something dollars. So yes, you resell it, and the fact that there's only one of its kind allows people to sell it for more money. Just like when we go into the Birkin bag, in real life Birkin bags, they're hard to get. I just watched a video on Birkin bags, but they're hard to get. And then when people resell them, they're making more reselling Birkin bags than they're making in the stock market, which is in the complaint of the Birkin bag one, which I thought was pretty interesting. They're like, Birkin bag is an investment, and here's how. So, yes, you can resell the NFT. All right. They want to know if Nike granted a license. Here's another person. How do they get the licensing to sell NFTs with Nike branding? This is the real question right here, especially since Nike is jumping into this themselves. So this person pointed out that Nike actually wants to be in the metaverse. So how are they actually licensing these Nike products or NFTs over to StockX? And Nike is saying, we're not. We want to sell our own NFTs. We don't want StockX to have a market share of our NFTs unless they're reselling it, basically. By StockX logic, I could do the exact same thing, exactly why these big brands are bringing these lawsuits. I could go out there and start making NFT Birkin bags and go and make $60,000 and then not work for the rest of 6 months or the rest of the year, honestly, if I go and sell me a NFT Birkin bag. And we don't want that to happen. We want the companies who built that goodwill to actually profit off of the goodwill, even in the digital space, because you're buying it because of the brand name. You're not buying it because it's Brianna selling digital Birkin bags for $30,000 each. Just sell NFTs of stuff I've got in the collection. All right. Just want to make sure I get it. The NFTs are backed by real sneakers, so you get an actual pair. The only difference between this and the old way is that Nike gets a small commission every time an NFT is purchased, right? So it's a way for Nike to get a piece of a huge pie of the resale market. I get the benefit for Nike, but I'm not able to see the benefit for the sneakerhead. Can someone help me? So they're basically thinking that Nike actually gets a piece of the resale value, which is not common, because like once a company sells a shoe, they make that money. And then when people keep selling it in aftermarket, the company doesn't get any more money. So this person is basically saying, why should they keep getting the resale money? I agree with them. But again, people are associating Nike with this thing. And Nike's trying to say, no, we're not. We're not scamming you, basically. You can cash out the NFT for actual shoe, but I think it's just a stupid scam for Nike to make more money. Are you going to drop more soon? StockX says yes. So they're going to continue to do it. And so this is where Nike gets into, if we don't stop them, then they're going to continue to do it. They're doing it on purpose. They're making money off of it, and that they should be the ones really making money off of it, not StockX company. Alvin says that's counterfeit if copied. Oh yeah. So if you basically copy, like let's say you screen, what is it called? Snip tool, the NFT that someone has, right? And then you go and try to sell it on StockX. I don't think you can, because it's technically supposed to be in the blockchain. So it will show that one doesn't have a first sale, but you can put it on there as the first one to be sold. But again, people could probably track it, because it probably needs to show that StockX is the first one to sell it. But also with cryptocurrency, aren't you not supposed to be able to track to who sell it? So yes, I guess there could be a black market for NFTs. I don't see why not. There's a black market for anything else. So I just don't think they will be able to sell it on StockX's server. I think it has to already be on StockX's server, if I'm not mistaken. But then again, there are computer hackers, so who knows? I don't know. All right, so the first thing that they're suing for is trademark infringement. We kind of already went over all the facts that go into this, so I'm just going to kind of list out what the causes of action are. This is under the statute, so this is under the federal law. Their use is continuous. They have a distinctive mark. They are the owner of the mark, and that they're saying StockX knowingly does it so that not only should they be paid their profits, but they should also be paid any extra money and attorney fees. And for the rest of these causes of action, they're going to pretty much allege all of the same facts, a little tweaks here and there. The next thing is false designation of origin or unfair competition. You're basically just saying that, oh, I'm not sharing. Sorry about that, guys. False designation of origin, you're basically saying like people are believing that this is coming from Nike, but it's not actually coming from Nike, so they ought to be stopped and also pay us money for even causing this drama. And then we also have trademark by dilution. You're basically lowering Nike's value by selling these NFTs. It's basically what they're alleging here. Because people are saying that Nike is a scam, maybe they're not going to pay $100 for the real shoes anymore because the NFT costs $800. They don't want that to happen. Okay, and then injury to business reputation and dilution under New York general business law. Again, this will be the first one was a federal law. This one is just a state law. So still, they're just trying to get as much chances to win as possible, and then making it as much chances to get money in the lawsuit as possible. So they're using it under New York state law because they're filing in federal court in New York. And then we have common law, trademark infringement, and unfair competition. Again, this is like if they didn't have a registration, this is what they would sue under. But most people, when they bring a federal trademark registration or federal trademark infringement lawsuit, they also bring a common law because, again, that gives you more chances to win and prove your case. If sometimes the statutory requirements are a little harder to prove than the common law sometimes. So it just gives them a better shot at winning when you just allege common law and federal and state. They're demanding a jury trial. And the prayer for relief is pretty extensive on this one. And again, pretty extensive in the Birkin bag one as well. So, which is why I think that they copied them because it looks like almost exactly the same. But maybe it's just the structure of the lawsuits in New York. So they want a judgment in the order that StockX has willfully infringed and they violated the anti-dilution statute. They want them to stop actually using or stop selling these NFTs. They want them to stop manufacturing it, stop implying Nike's approval, stop engaging in any act that is likely to dilute the quality of Nike's marks, stop representing or implying that StockX is in any way sponsored by, concurrently affiliated with, or licensed by Nike, stop knowingly insisting, inducing, and all that other stuff, and activities related to all of those things above. An order to require StockX to destroy the NFTs or deliver them to Nike, an order granting the award for damages suffered by Nike. So any profits that StockX has made, any loss in sales that Nike has had, they want all of that money. An order for StockX to account for Nike for any and all profits earned, award for 3 times the amount of compensatory damages and increased profits. So whatever it would take to pay them plus 3 times plus increased profits that they would have gotten. So they want all the money. Nike is coming for the money. And then they're not suing a small fish. StockX is supposedly not supposed StockX is also supposed to be a $1 billion company as well. An award for statutory damages under the trademark infringement statute. Order granting an award for punitive damage for the willful and wanton nature of StockX copying them. So they want it to be like the Tasha K lawsuit where StockX is punished for copying Nike to such an extreme extent. An order granting prejudgment interest on the recovery by Nike. So they not only want the money, but they also want to charge interest on the money from from this date that they filed this complaint. An order granting an award of Nike's costs, expenses, and reasonable attorney's fees. And then so they want them to pay for their attorney's fees, which is going to be a lot of money because federal cases are expensive, and granting such other further relief that's just improper. So basically a catch-all. Whatever we missed, make sure that you also give us that as well. That's what they're trying to say. All right. So office says maybe same attorney. Oh, I didn't think about that. It might be the same attorney's office. Now I'm gonna look. Mark Miller, DLA Piper. Let's pop over. I'm just gonna go all the way to the bottom to see, because it is in the same court. I don't think so. No, I don't think it's. Oh yeah, Baker and Hostetler. Hostetler. That's an interesting name. Yeah. So no, not the same. Not the same. What do you call it? Law firm. But look, it looks kind of similar, doesn't it? Maybe theirs is a little longer. Yeah, theirs is a little longer, but the format was similar. Oh yeah, it's a little different. It just looked the same. Okay, so now that we've made it all the way through Nike, here is another 50-page complaint, but I'm going to try to get through this one a little faster. I wanted to get through the Nike one fast, but it was just so much stuff in there, and I couldn't help myself but to go ahead and read it. But I'm going to take a sip of water. Yeah, so brought in the same court, district court. This one is for Hermes, and I'm hoping I'm saying that right because Alpha corrected me on it the other day. And they are the creators of the Birkin Bags. So we're going to be talking about the Metabirkins in this case. There was an artist that basically created Metabirkins, and he's selling it for crazy amount of money. Like, you might as well get the real bag for this amount of money. But I guess it's not as hard to buy the Metabirkins. And so he's basically putting Metabirkins everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, maybe Facebook, I don't know. And they have a website. And Birkin or Hermes is like, they're infringing on our trademarks. But in this case, Hermes has not filed a lawsuit, or not a lawsuit, but trademark registrations for the metaverse quite yet, but they are seeing how other people are making money in the metaverse, and they want to make sure that they can get in on that too. And so again, they are also filing a lawsuit just like Nike to kind of get this cut off, nip it in the bud, so that they will have the right to use their trademark in the digital world that they are creating, called the metaverse. Not them creating, but the world is creating the metaverse. Facebook creating the metaverse. Again, I'm still in agreement that if you have a physical product, it would make sense that you will also sell the digital product. So it's kind of much of the same stuff that Nike talked about. 47 pages of complaints. And again, I did not check if there has been responses yet, but I don't think so. But this one was filed on January 14th, 2022. So this one was actually filed before the Nike one. So I'm surprised people weren't really talking about this one before. I hear way more about the Nike one than this one. Maybe people don't care about Birkin bags because a lot of people that are in the cryptocurrency and metaverse are men. So I don't think a lot of men are buying too many Birkin bags. Okay. Alpha said maybe friends. The attorneys are maybe friends. Maybe. It's a possibility. I don't see why not. All right. Let's jump into this so I can take a nap. All right, so let me make this all big so everybody can see what's going on. Again, we are in the Southern District of New York. Was that one in Southern District too? I think so. I guess it doesn't matter. Yep, Southern District. So it looks a little bit different. Plaintiffs are Hermes International and Hermes of Paris Incorporated against Mason Rothschild, which may be a little bit harder to recover the money because he is an individual. They're not suing any type of LLC or business, it looks like. But he has made money off of his Metabirkin, so maybe he can pay for the lawsuit. All right, we're going to go through the preliminary statements. Then we're going to go through a little bit of the detailed facts, and then into the causes of action and the prayer for relief, what they want to win in the case. All right, so as defendant stated in a recent interview with Yahoo Finance, there's nothing more iconic than a Hermes Birkin bag. Defendant is a digital speculator who is seeking to get rich quick by appropriating the brand Metabirkins for use in creating, marketing, selling, and facilitating the exchange of digital assets known as non-fungible tokens. Defendant's Metaverse brand simply rips off Hermes' famous Birkin trademark by adding the generic prefix meta to the famous trademark Birkin. Meta and Metaverse refer to virtual worlds and economies where digital assets such as NFTs can be sold and traded. So they're basically saying that they're putting Birkin bags into the metaverse before we can actually do it. Defendants I cannot read today. Defendants has openly revealed his Metabirkin's business plan. He seeks to make his fortune by swapping out Hermes' real-life rights for virtual rights. As he has explained, defendant is trying to create the same kind of illusion that the Birkin has in real life as a digital commodity. So he is basically admitting his infringement right here. The digital commodities upon which defendant is building his NFTs are unique and non-fungible units of data stored on a blockchain, just as cryptocurrencies are fungible, are stored on a blockchain. NFTs can be created to transfer ownership of any physical thing or digital media, including an actual handbag or the image of a handbag. NFTs can also be freely bought and sold like any other commodity, which with cryptocurrencies, a high speculative market has emerged around trading NFTs. Again, it's going to be very profitable is what they're trying to get at here. I want to be a little bigger. The defendant has openly acknowledged he elected to sell NFTs that has as Metabirkins because Birkin handbag is a highly valuable asset in the physical world. Defendant has executed his plan for replicating the physical world success of the Birkin bag in the metaverse through pervasive use of the mark Metabirkins to brand itself in the metaverse. So yeah, they're basically just listing what he's doing, copying the Birkin bag to basically profit off of it. He has Twitter handles, Instagram account name, Discord channel, and blanketed social media with hashtag Metabirkin. So he's also using this hashtag to basically attract more people to his social media accounts and website. They have the metabirkin.com website where they advertise and promote the sale of Metabirkin's NFTs. He encourages others to make their own Metabirkins with his Build a Metabirkin. Now imagine if Hermes did a Build Your Birkin Bag contest and allowed people to keep the bag. They probably wouldn't do that. Contest which further damages and dilutes the Birkin mark. Obviously, they wouldn't do it because he's saying that the Build a Birkin dilutes the mark even more. He has announced to his followers he plans to develop his own decentralized NFT exchange under the Metabirkins brand. In furtherance of defendant's stated plan for replicating the experience of Birkin handbags in the metaverse, the NFT for sale under the Metabirkins brand currently consists of blurry images of the trade dress of a famous Birkin bag. So he doesn't even have like full pictures of the Birkin bag, which we're going to get down to in a moment here. Defendant's adoption of the Metabirkin's trademark has brought him great financial success in a matter of weeks. There can be no doubt that This success arises from his confusing and dilutive use of Hermes' famous trademark. I'm thinking that this one might have a response. I need to look into that. As one commentator among many noted in response to recent media coverage, if this wasn't called Birkin, would it be getting the same attention? And that is super important to point out, guys, because if he was just selling some random purses online and not calling it a Metabirkin, would he be able to sell it for thousands of dollars? Probably not. Would people even be buying it? Maybe not. I don't see how he could, because I'm thinking that people are only even following these accounts because they have the Birkin name in it. And this is all speculative. I don't know, but that would be my assumption. Defendant seeks to immunize himself from the legal consequences of his appropriation of Hermes' famous trademark by proclaiming that he is solely an artist. Although a digital image connected to an NFT may reflect some artistic creativity, just as a T-shirt or a greeting card may reflect some artistic creativity, the title of artist does not confer a license to use an equivalent to the famous Birkin trademark in a manner calculated to mislead consumers and undermine the ability that the mark to identify Hermes as a unique source of goods sold under the Birkin mark. Defendant's ruse must not be sanctioned. He is stealing the goodwill of Hermes, famous intellectual property, to create and sell his own line of products. And I think what a lot of people don't realize is that even when artists are creating certain things, like there were cases of people trying to create like candy bars or cakes or something, but they're putting the logos of like Snickers on it, or they're making it as a crunch bar. And those people were also sued for trademark infringement because those companies did not endorse those projects. So just because it's not exactly the same as what they're selling, which this artist is trying to prove, oh, I'm just an artist, I'm being artistic by making this painting of this Birkin bag or this digital asset of this Birkin bag. So no, it's not infringement. But no, you're selling an actual product called a Metabirkin, and you're making all the money off of it. So I think it is more on the lines of infringement versus just being art, because he's not selling it under. It'll be different if he just designed the bag like that and then he sold it under his name. That would be a different story, but he's selling it under Birkin's name. So I don't think he's going to get away with that little argument he has going on here. The fact that defendant has adopted and is using the Metabirkins as a trademark is evident from the proprietary rights that he is claiming in the Metabirkins brand. It is not surprising that other digital speculators, seeing how easy defendant has made money off of the Metabirkins brand, are now also issuing NFTs that they call Metabirkins. And then on top of that, when they did that, the defendant got mad and complained of counterfeited Metabirkins on the NFT marketplace. The day before his infringing collection of Metabirkin NFTs released, defendant reported they were being counterfeited, and that he saw more and more fake Metabirkins sold every hour. So only he can copy the real Birkins, but no one can copy his Metabirkins. That is outrageous, right? In fact, defendant's infringing use of Metabirkin's trademark has spurred others to create hundreds more NFTs claiming to be Metabirkin's NFTs or offshoots of Metabirkin NFTs, all of which infringe and dilute dilute Birkin trademark. So they don't, not only is this dude copying them, there's other people copying them, and they're not going to have any space to get into the NFT market because of these people. On December 16, 2021, Hermes notified both defendant and the NFT platform OpenSeas of the violations of the intellectual property rights, and the OpenSeas platform removed the infringement from the platform. However, the defendant was not deterred and basically put the Metabirkins on a different platform called Wearable Platform. Defendant's widespread use of Metabirkin marks constitute trademark infringement and dilution of the famous Birkin mark. It is distinctive, and the adds a likelihood, the Metabirkins add a likelihood of confusion and dilution. While they haven't sold their own NFTs, this is a new, and I can't say that word, marketplace. Basically, a new marketplace that they want to get into. Consumers see a wide variety of brands, including luxury fashion brands, exploiting the NFT space and would expect that NFTs featuring famous brands are affiliated with those brands. And that is basically what they're trying to establish in this Hermes case and also in the Nike case and in whatever other famous brand is brought up on an NFT case, because they need to basically establish that regular people or people that are not associated with the famous mark, they cannot go and start their own NFTs for it because they haven't filed the trademarks in this new marketplace. And they're saying that these trademarks should be associated with the actual brands. And so they're saying basically, if they are not stopped from doing this, they are going to preempt Hermes' ability to do it. They're going to preempt them from making actual good NFT of Birkin bags, and it will also preempt other famous brands from doing the same thing. So we got through all of that, and so I'm just going to skip over the jurisdiction and venue and also the party information. Okay, it's a little bit different order. I really thought the complaints looked the same, but apparently I was very wrong. They actually did some stuff in the opposite order of the other complaint. So I don't see anything popping up for me here. So we're just going to get back to the deeper facts of the case, which is going to be a speed through because, like I said, this is a 47-page complaint, and we are only on page 7 where the factual allegations start. So we're going to be skipping a lot of stuff, getting down into the actual causes of action, which a lot of them are going to be the same as the Nike lawsuit. And then we're going to get into what they're actually asking for. What money are they talking about? How much money should they be getting at this point? All right, so let's go over there. All right, so this section of the complaint, they're just establishing the fact that they are a famous trademark, and they have established that they have an incontestable trademark. Hermes dates back to 1837. Then the Birkin bag was created in 1986. And that they have a trademark for the Birkin, or this is actually the design of the Birkin bag, and they actually are going to show the trademark that they have for the design. So I don't know if I've talked about this on a different live stream, but basically for trademarks, I think I did on Tuesday actually. But for trademarks, you can trademark more than just your name. The main things that people trademark are the main thing that people trademark are like their brand name, their logo, their slogan, like the design of their logo. But there are so many other things that you can trademark. You can trademark color, you can trademark sound, you can trademark smell. You can also trademark the design of a product, and that is what Birkin actually did here. So they're going to establish that they are the owner of this bag that everybody wants to buy. Not my style, but people do want to buy it. So Birkin bag it is. $15,000 bag right here. Birkin bag. And they have a registration for the actual name for the Birkin, trademark this number. And then they also have the trade dress right. So this is the actual design or whatever product dress. The trade dress is what they call it. So they have a trademark for this shape of bag. So nobody can copy this shape of bag, you copycat purse makers. They want to make it clear that to make a Birkin bag is difficult and expensive to produce. It takes 17 hours of a artisan's time to make a Birkin bag. And to the point where Hermes cannot satisfy all the requests. All the people are asking for Birkin bags, and they're not able to give it to everyone. And if you haven't already seen Smokey Glow's video, she goes a little deeper into it about how you basically have to go through an interview to get a Birkin bag. Like I said, I'm not into Birkin bags like that, but I am a little nosy, so I did watch the video, and I just like her channel. So like Smoky Glow said, you go through like an interview to actually get these bags, and sometimes they kind of stop who cannot get a bag, and you have to spend all this money and all that good stuff. But basically, they're saying that they cannot satisfy all the requests of people that want the Birkin bag because the Birkin bag is so special and people spend so much money on it. Saying that it's extremely scarce, and it made it the holy grail of handbags. They give rarefied wealth. After the pandemic hit, the amount of what does it say? More than doubled a year ago and rose by 24% from the pre-pandemic June 2019 level. So people have desired these handbags, and the amount of purchases and people wanting this bag have continued to grow. And this is where they're going to get into like how popular Birkin bags are. They also talk about how it's more valuable than getting gold. They say that it is, if you invest in a Birkin bag, you get a 14.2% return versus if you buy the S&P 500, average of 8.7% return a year. In gold's 1.5%. So they say that having a Birkin bag is more valuable than investing in the stock market and more valuable than gold. And then in 2019, the Birkin handbag was recognized for its 17% rate of return, which outperforms most traditional forms of investment. And since its inception in 1986, I think they said, it has grown in value by 500%. So having a Birkin bag is very profitable for you if you're into those types of things. Or I guess investing, a lot of people are into that. So even if you're an investor and you don't like to wear Birkin bags, it seems like a pretty good investment. People will pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for Birkin bags. And so we get into defendants' actual infringement of the commercial venture. They first started off with this thing called the Baby Birkin, which features a 40-week-old fetus on top of a transparent version of a Birkin bag. It's called the Baby Birkin NFT. A screenshot is below. And so can you guys see that very well? Let me zoom it a little bit more. This is a baby. How is that 40 weeks? It still looks like when it's like barely formed, but it's supposed to be a 40-week-old fetus. But usually you can see the head by then. So I don't know if he's ever seen a fetus or not. Or maybe I don't know what a fetus. No. It will have a head and arms and legs by now, because at 40 weeks is when the baby comes out. And it's not, and I'm thinking it's a regular human baby, so it shouldn't still look like a worm. Okay. I'm a little bit too into this, but it sold in May of 2021 for $23,500. And then it was resold for $47,000. And guys, this is not the actual bag. This is literally the NFT. This little digital thingy-mabob is what it's selling for that amount of money. So I think that's ridiculous. It's like just a little picture on the blockchain. All right. So they sold that thing for $47,000. Mind you, these are not real Birkin bags. Real Birkin bags sell for that amount of money. Yes. But this is just this little digital thing. And remember, when we were reading earlier, they said it was like blurry shape. Oops. Uh-oh. What did I have going on? Okay. They said it was like blurry little purses. Here we go. They are literally blurry little purses. And when I was looking at this earlier, I thought they were just blurry because they didn't want us to see it all the way, because like you had to unlock it. But now I'm seeing that the lock is just the design of the purse. It's like a lock on the purse. So yeah. They are blurry Birkin bags, but these ones are the fuzzy ones. This was in December 2nd, 2021. And then they're saying that they advertise these Birkin bags without their permission. And so we hop back down. Again, here it is. It's going to be the same situation in Nike, where they say they're not affiliated with Birkin, but then they link to the Birkin's website. And then here, even though he's calling it Metaverse or Metabirkin to distinguish it from Birkin, Hermes actually points out that they don't always use Metabirkin. They put "not your mother's Birkin," so that could be a slogan easily. And then on this one, they just put Birkin. So now you're literally using the actual trademark of Birkin bags. And this is probably, other than being blurry, probably what it would appear like on the Hermes website, seeing a picture of a Birkin bag on there. So they're not really putting too much distinction here, and then putting the word Birkin right there even makes it even worse for them. All right, so here we are on the website. There's a disclaimer that says we are not affiliated, associated, authorized, endorsed by, or in any way officially connected to Hermes or any of its subsidiaries or affiliates. The official Hermes website can be found at hermes.com. Remember when I told you in Nike that they link to the Nike website, which makes people think that they are associated with them? Because most people, 9 times out of 10, are not reading all of those other words that come before it. They're probably just going to click to the Hermes website and accidentally order a Birkin, but I don't think you can order it online, so let me be quiet. Okay, and so here it is. This is the whole little Birkin. Is the whole website just blurry, or did it just turn out like that because of the screenshot? But yeah, the Birkin bag here is blurry, and then there's wording here that's saying that they're not associated, and then the link to Hermes. So you can literally link, like click to them. And so Hermes says unnecessarily links to us, which capitalizes on our trademark. All right, and so let's speed through here. Again, they're talking about how they copy them and that they sell it on multiple different platforms. That's one of the bigger issues as well. Is he selling it on OpenSeas? Then he sells it on what is this website called? Mace, I think. Mace, or is he Mace? But this is another website that he sells on. Here's more selling of it. It looks rare NFT. They sell it on Looks Rare, which was what I just said. And then this one, I think it's a different website, but I'm not quite sure. We're not going to go that deep into the wordings in here. All right, and then the first Metabirkin NFTs sold on or about December 3rd, 2021 for a cost of 10 Ether or over Ether. I guess that's a new cryptocurrency. Over $42,000 United States dollars, calculated at an exchange rate of Ether on December 3rd of 2021. That's the date after my birthday. And so they're selling 42,000 digital products, $42,000 digital products the day after my birthday. So he has actually sold more than $1 million with a floor price of $15,000 and the highest sale at $45,000. Jeez Louise, he's making a lot of money on these blurry Birkins. That's what he should call it. Instead of Meta Birkins, he should call it blurry Birkins. Oh, it's beyond my bedtime at this point. Okay, so he has a bunch of social media accounts under Meta Birkins. As we can see him on Instagram with 16.4K followers for his blurry Birkins. Oh, these are kind of cute, but illegal. Trademark infringement. Fuzzy blurry Birkins here. We got some tweets going out from fuzzy blurry Birkins. He has 6,700 followers on Twitter. Alrighty. And so they're just talking about all his infringement that he has going on. And so when somebody has a complaint for 50 pages, that you got a lot going on for them to be accusing you of. They say that he admits to the Metabirkin as his trademark. He claims trademark rights in Metabirkins. And he's complaining of the counterfeited Metabirkin NFTs on the NFT marketplaces. You cannot do that. It's calling them fake and counterfeit, but yours is fake and counterfeit, and boom, we are into the causes of action. We zoomed through that one a little bit better than the Nike lawsuit, but I wasn't pointing out of a lot of the junk that they, not the junk, but the allegations that they have in the lawsuit. And so here we are. They are suing for federal trademark infringement, basically alleging that they have a fanciful and arbitrary mark. It has gained a secondary meaning because, as we know, Hermes is just a last name, so it's gained secondary meaning by being in use in commerce for 5 years. Birkin is also a last name. I don't know if it will be a common surname, but it is a last name and has acquired a secondary meaning by being in existence for 5 years. And so we have some comments that came in that I missed a few moments ago. So let's hop over to those comments real quick. Ether. Pronounce Ether. It's been around since nearly the beginning of crypto. Okay, thank you for the correction. I hope I still pronounced it right. Ether, right? What did I say? Ether? Probably. Sounds like they're gonna throw him or her under the jail. Well, it's a trademark infringement case, so you don't necessarily, it's not a criminal case, so he's just gonna have to pay this $1.1 million that he's made off of his fuzzy, blurry Birkins. And counterfeit NFTs is just a hilarious concept to me. I agree with you there. Counterfeit NFTs, especially when you're already counterfeiting a famous trademark by making these digital products, is kind of an extreme claim to be making. I don't know if you were here for the Nike part of the live stream, but I'm thinking that their rights are going to expand into the digital world because it only makes sense that someone making physical products would expand into digital products when that world exists. And so the world is coming into life for a metaverse. So it will only make sense that they would earn the trademark. And the fact that Birkin is such a famous trademark, it will not be likely that this dude will be able to get Metabirkin to sell in the metaverse. Like the USPTO, I do not think will go for that. So in order to call other people counterfeit, you have to call yourself counterfeit as well. So let's pop back over here. Yep, secondary meaning. The defendant uses the Birkin mark. He uses it plainly, and he uses it in conjunction as Metabirkin, fuzzy Birkin, he should call it, that they don't consent and is causing confusion. All of that good stuff for trademark infringement. They also are alleging false designation of origin, false descriptions, and representation. Again, they're trying to trick people to thinking that it's associated with Hermes, because why else would someone pay thousands of dollars for a Metabirkin that's not even by the company that sells Birkins? I don't think that people know that it's not the company that sells Birkins. Well, they probably do now because this guy is bragging all the time. And these people think that they're going to be the hottest commodity in the metaverse when they're rocking their Birkins. And then it's kind of like when you buy designer things at a swap meet. That's basically what this is going to be like, because their Birkin bags are fuzzy and the real Birkin NFTs are probably not going to be fuzzy. So, yeah, they basically overpaid for a swap meet NFT Birkin bag. Oh, I need to stop being so aggressive. All right, so we mislead the purchase in public. We don't want that happen. They want the court to enjoin the behavior, meaning that they want to make them stop. All right, then we go to federal trademark dilution, basically meaning that they're bringing down the value of the trademark. They're bringing down the value of the Hermes or the Birkin trademark, so they also want them to stop, saying that Hermes is the exclusive owner of Birkin, and basically that Metabirkins don't exist and they need to stop them from using it. All right, and that they're not authorized or licensed to use it, so that way they're doing dilution. And so we are popping back over to this. It says they always brag. They always do brag. And then have the nerve to be aggressive to someone else that is also doing what they're doing. They're just copying him infringing. So you can't really be mad. They're all trying to get their fuzzy Birkin money before they get sued. before they get sued. And then he has to take the fall for everyone because he's the one out here bragging the hardest and having 20,000 followers on Instagram or 16,000 followers on Instagram. All right, cyber squatting under the anti-cyber squatting consumer. They're basically saying that his use of the um, Meta Birkin domain name is cyber squatting, but technically it probably would not be cyber squatting because he actually is selling things under the name, or maybe he's not selling from that website yet. But I think he might be linking to where you can buy the NFTs. So technically it wouldn't be cyber squatting, but it is more on the lines of trademark infringement. All right. Injury to business reputation and dilution. So this is basically the same allegations, but under New York law. And then common law trademark infringement, again, similar allegations under the common law, and misappropriation and unfair competition under New York law. So they have a couple of 7 causes of actions on this, and down to the prayer of relief. They are asking for a judgment declaring that Hermes is a federally registered trademark. Defendants' use of metaverse constitute federal unfair competition. It constitutes dilution by blurring. Defendant had bad faith intent to profit on the Birkin mark, and defendant use of the infringing domain constitutes cyber squatting. Yes, which we saw in the Rolex case last week. Defendant's use of the Metabirkin mark violates the New York general business law. They want a permanent injunction, so they basically want them to stop doing everything they're doing to infringe. So they got to stop doing everything. And it's all talking about the same thing. And then they want to order directing the defendants to deliver the for destruction all of the unauthorized Metabirkin. So they want him to give them all of their NFTs so that Hermes can destroy them properly. Direct the defendant to transfer the infringing domain name. They want the Metabirkin name back because at the end of the day, they're probably going to use it because it has already been proven to be successful. So why not call their Birkin bags Metabirkins in the metaverse? And that way, because you're like distinguishing it from the actual physical product, that makes sense to call it a Metabirkin. But he shouldn't have the right to use it. All right, they want him to give up the social media names. They want to prevent the public trade in public, to direct the defendant within 30 days after service of judgment that he gives a written report in the manner that he complied with all the orders that they are requesting. They want damages for the unlawful acts. They want his profits. They want statutory damages of $100,000 for the violation of the federal statutory trademark laws. They want them to pay Hermes the profits assessed by all of the other things by all of the violations. And they want for Mr. Defendant Man to go ahead and pay the cost of the attorney's fees and the litigation for this case. They want the court to retain jurisdiction over the action for purposes of enabling Hermes to apply to the court at any time for such further orders and interpretation and execution of any orders entered. And they want to award Hermes any other relief that the court deems just and improper. Live streaming too long. Okay, and then they also want a jury trial, so they don't want just a judge to decide this case. So now that we've been through 2 NFT lawsuits, one of which took a lot longer because I did not go as deep into all of the allegations here, what do you guys think as far as people created NFTs under famous trademarks or under trademarks that they do not own? So let's say even Nike started making Birkin bags. That probably wouldn't be right either. So What do you guys think? Do you think NFTs fall under the original federal trademarks or under the original trademarks, even though they're digital assets rather than physical assets? Who do you think should be the first people that have the right to go ahead and use the NFT or to start using NFTs under these famous marks? I think it's the businesses that created the marks, but let me know what you guys think. So there can be no criminal consequences for this kind of case. It feels like a slap on the wrist. Yeah, because when you talk about money and you're talking about business stuff, it's mostly going to be a civil case. So it's mostly going to be about money. To my knowledge, there are no criminal laws against trademark infringement. They gave that more to the civil side of the situation. I've never seen anyone go to jail for trademark infringement off the top of my head. It's a civil law. So it might not be a slap on the wrist because, like I said, in this what do you call it? In this here Birkin bag lawsuit, it's an individual being sued. So he only made, not only made, but he made about $1.1 million off the sale of these fuzzy Birkins. Um, but in this lawsuit, all of the money that they're asking for all of those profits, which is probably going to be that 1.1 million. Because, like I said, I don't know how much it costs to make NFTs, but I'm assuming it's not that much. So he'll probably have to pay all of those profits. Let's say he paid to put it on the metaverse places that he was selling on, like OpenSea. Let's say it costs $100,000 to put it on all of the platforms that he had them on, because he had them on like 4 platforms. Let's say it costs $100,000. He'll basically have to pay Hermes $1 million if they find that he wins, or they find that Hermes wins. And that's just for the profits. They're also requesting for any profits that he may get in the future. They're also, I don't think this case is asking for it, but they could potentially get interest on it. And then they're asking for attorney's fees. If you watch the Tasha K and Cardi B lawsuit, we know that the attorney's fees ended up being about $1 million. So that's another $1 million. So technically, it wouldn't be a slap on the wrist because, like I said, this guy is an individual. I don't know how much money he has in the bank, but the fact that he decided to infringe on Birkin bags lets me know that he probably is not a millionaire. This is just my assumption. And so once he pays out that $1 million, if he hasn't already spent it, because it's probably money, like a lot of people don't get $1 million within 6 months. Once he pays back that $1 million, then you start going into the $1 million of attorney's fees and the $100,000 in punitive damages, or more than $100,000, probably another $1 million in punitive damages. Then we're looking at $2 million. And I don't know about you, but I don't have $2 million. And I know a lot of individuals in the United States do not have $2 million to give to a $1 billion company that's already charging $15,000 for each of their bags on the first sale. All right. And then we have, but the metaverse is owned by no one. I mean, it's the internet and no one owns it. You know, enforcement will be difficult. The best defense will probably be establishing your brand first. Are you talking about for new brands? Because we're talking about like these famous brands like Birkin Bags, Nike, McDonald's, all of these people that are coming into the metaverse that are already famous brands. I think they have already established their brands, and they will basically be selling the digital versions of what they are already selling in real life. So it wouldn't be, if someone started selling Nike in the metaverse, you would assume that it really comes from Nike, the brand. You want to assume that it just comes from me or from some new company. Most people would think that it's coming from the actual brand. And that's my view on it. I think it is trademark infringement based off of that part of it. So I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Drop it in the comments. The live stream is coming to an end. Remember, these were just complaints that I went over. So everything in here have not been proven to be fact just yet. But as they go through the lawsuit, then they will determine what the actual facts of the case are. If you have issues similar to this and you need help with a lawyer. Remember, this is not intended to be legal advice. You should definitely consult with your own attorney. I will see you guys in the next live stream. Thank you for joining.